everyone. Welcome back, returning volunteers. We're really happy that you've decided to assist us again this year with our VITA tax preparation. Our goal is a lofty one, but with your help, we will be able to achieve it. As in years past, everyone must certify in these two exam areas before even beginning other online exams. Ethics or volunteer standards of conduct speaks to what the VITA program is all about, as well as what we will and will not do while volunteering. Intake, interview, and quality review carries the global consent to disclose tax information to other VITA TCE tax preparation site. The consent will need to be signed by the taxpayer. By consenting, the taxpayer is then able to go to any VITA TCE tax preparation site across the country to have their tax return prepared, and their critical information will automatically be pulled in or populated. This saves you, the tax preparer, some keystrokes and reduces the likelihood of errors being made in those critical areas. Now, speaking of exams, each of us must certify to the advanced level. The advanced exam now includes the health savings account information. Remember, the HSA was a standalone module in some previous years. In order to certify, you must score at least 80% on the exam. You will have two opportunities to make this score. If you score 80%, that means you've passed. You cannot return to the test in hopes of making a higher score if you scored 80% or better. If you passed, you passed. In addition to the two required certification videos, that is the ethics and the intake and quality review previously mentioned, there are some short videos that you should be viewing. They are Why I Volunteer, I Care, which is a customer service video, Diversity, Client Population, which deals with the resources, how they are viewed over class lines and population lines. And lastly, the video dealing with financial literacy and financial champion. They are short and a little bit comical and provide some perspective in our VITA tax program. I have some links shown for your own edification. Once you have viewed these videos, please annotate that you viewed them in your own volunteer account in Better Impact. The software we're using continues to be TaxSlayer Pro Online Web. This software has become our software of choice, and it continues to improve yearly. Pay strict attention to the screens because some of them have changed. The directional tabs to particular screens continues to be down the left-hand side. The refund calculator piece has returned again for this year. It is critical that you read the screens in order to accurately and completely prepare the taxpayer return. When preparing the returns in the TaxSlayer Pro Online, you will always need to work your way through each screen down to the Ready to Review screen. At the Ready for Review screen, you may close the return and a quality reviewer will review your input work through completion and electronically file the taxpayer tax return. An accurate return happens when the tax law is applied correctly and the return is free from error. Accuracy is achieved by obtaining information and supporting documentation from the taxpayer during the intake and interview process. This slide represents the online publications you should have when completing the advanced exam, as well as when you're actually preparing the taxpayer tax return. Publication 4491 and Publication 4012 are our primary resource books. Use them often and sparingly. Form 6744 is the book that houses all of your tests as well as the retests. Suggestion: answer the question in the test booklet first before selecting your answers in the online test. Here's another freebie. Read the entire question before you respond to it. When you take the test online, it is scored instantly. So it behooves each of us to read and reread the question and then review your answers before hitting the submit button in the online test. Did I say review? That's a critical part of taking the test. Publication 4491W publication contains additional scenarios and exercises. This slide shows traditional VITA site available positions. Additionally, Dallas Community Tax VITA centers are located across the city of Dallas, as well as some other smaller cities. We are typically at churches, universities, shared ministries, and charities. Our locations are situated in the north, northwest, south, and east areas of Dallas. Since you are returning and Lincoln Learn volunteers and don't require in-depth learning, I will simply be highlighting some items for your training as well as some links. The Form 1040 has changed over the last few years. The slide shows the links for the most current Form 1040. There are some new lines that have been added to this form, so look it over carefully. The Form 13614C. All of the taxpayer identification information is still being required. That is the picture ID, social security number, I-10 letters for each person being claimed on the return, income statements, etc. Remember, this form is used to interview the taxpayer after the taxpayer has completed all the required parts of that form. This form has changed its look over the last few years as well, so look it over very carefully. The slide shows the link to the most current form. The training computer certification websites. This sheet follows and contains the web locations as well as some initial passwords for the TaxSlayer Pro Online. TaxSlayer Pro Online is where you will input your taxpayer test scenarios from the test booklet. The resource website is where you go to get help to locate different pieces of specific information. Go there sometime and check it out. This slide is a picture of publication 4491. Part 1 deals with important changes for the current year, the course introduction, legislative extenders, and filing basics. Read through this part carefully because it contains the most current information, that is, current tax information. Part 2 speaks to determining filing status and exemptions. Part 3 moves us to how to determine taxable income. Remember, all income is taxable unless expressly exempt by federal tax law. Part 4 teaches how to determine adjusted gross income, or AGI. Parts 5 and 6 moves us to computing taxes as well as tax credits. Part 7 gets us into the refund and refundable credits areas of the tax return. Part 8 addresses completing and filing the tax return, and Part 9 talks about amended and prior tax return filings. As mentioned earlier, the companion publication to publication 4491 is publication 4012. It closely follows the same format as the 4491, but contains a number of TaxSlayer online input screens to help us to see how things really look in the software. The tabs have not changed significantly over the years. We have tabs A through M. So take a look behind those tabs and refer to them as you are preparing the tax returns or are working through your test. Our job as tax preparers is to prepare a complete and accurate tax return using the TaxSlayer Pro Online software along with our publications 4491 and Publication 4012. This statement hasn't changed in many years. All returns must be quality reviewed by someone other than the tax preparer before being electronically transmitted to the IRS. Once the tax preparer has entered and reviewed all the input data into TaxSlayer, the preparer should continue to move through all the screens down to the Ready for Review screen. In the Review Status area, select Ready for Review and check the box. Next, check the Save and Exit the Return boxes. TaxSlayer Pro Online closes the return, enabling the quality reviewer to open it and to begin the quality review process. This slide represents the VITA training links and password sheet referred to in an earlier slide. Use this sheet as you prepare to input your test scenarios into the practice lab in TaxSlayer Pro Online. There are 3 scenarios that must be input into TaxSlayer in order to arrive at the correct answers to the advanced task questions. They are scenarios number 6, number 7, and number 8. If you don't have a VITA Central password, establish one using the information detailed here in item number 3, VITA Central, on this slide. Or if you already have an account, simply sign into it. If you've forgotten your password, follow the instructions at VITA Central to reset your password. After you're in VITA Central, move over to the right, locate the Practice Lab, and click on it. Practice Lab will open up to you. Use line item number 4 from the slide for help getting to the TaxSlayer Pro Online software. In order to take the test, go to VITA Central, input your username and password. Go to the Advanced tab and click on it and launch it to begin taking the test. The test has a bookmark feature, meaning you can begin the test, log out of VITA Central, and resume at another time, and the system will take you back to where you left off. Remember, before taking the advanced test, you must have already passed the ethics and the intake interview exam referenced in item number 2. Take your time and read what is on the screen in the TaxSlayer Pro Online to ensure that you are inputting the correct information. Read the test questions critically before responding. Review all of your answers before submitting the test for scoring. The Submit button is at the bottom of the answer page. All right then, go for it. Hope to see you soon, and take care.